All right, my beautiful people. So we're going to talk about dictionary skills. I know people have used the dictionary before, but let's see what we can do or maybe learn something new about the dictionary today. Okay? Get the lights. Thank you. All right, so we're going to talk about it's really dark. What is the dictionary? Have you ever used it? Things like that. Well, everyone here has used the dictionary before? Yeah, for the most part. Do you guys want the lights on? No? Yes? Maybe? No to the lights? Okay. It's really dark. So dictionaries are books that list all the words in the language. So an English dictionary will have the words' meanings in English. A Spanish dictionary will have the words' meaning in Spanish. And a bilingual dictionary will have both. So what can we use a dictionary for apart from finding the meaning? So obviously we know that in a dictionary, a word, but there are other things that we can find. So we can find the English translation of the word in your language. You can find the spelling, or you can check the spelling of a word. You can check the plural form or the past form of the verb. So that means that sometimes words like sing or sing have a past tense that isn't normally, it's not sung, right? It doesn't follow the rules. And you might want to look for that. You can find that information in the dictionary, okay? So you can find the plural form of it, and you can find the past tense of a verb. So the plural of a noun and a past tense of the verb. You can also find out what part of speech. So for example, is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adjective? Is it an adverb? And what these things do when you find them is that it helps you understand how the word functions in a sentence. So let's say you don't know what a table means, right? You don't know the word, and you see it in the sentence. If you know it's a noun, then you know how it works. You know that it's the name of something. So if you're using a new word, or if you're learning a new word, then you can find out where it belongs in the sentence through the dictionary. You can also find the synonyms and the antonyms of the word. That means words, synonyms, keep wanting to say cinnamon, sound that. Anyways, that is the words that mean the same thing. And antonyms is words that mean the opposite. So you can also find that information in the dictionary. This is helpful. Let's say you want to say something is not pleasant, but you don't want to use the word not pleasant. So you look up the word present in the dictionary and you look for the antonym. And then it will give you that word that means not pleasant without you having to say two words. So it makes the words sound better. It increases your word choice when you have the opposite or the same meaning, but you want to use a different word to make it sound better. You can find out how to pronounce something. And that is done through something called the phonetic alphabet or the International Phonetic Alphabet. And we'll talk about that one in a later date. But basically, the International Phonetic Alphabet has the sounds that the letters make in every language. So if you know that, you can pronounce it that way. And if you are using an app, like an application, or you're using the dictionary online, you could usually find the meaning. You could usually hit a button and it will give you the pronunciation of that word. And the last thing you can have or find in a dictionary is examples of how to use that word in the natural language, in the spoken or written language. Okay, so we usually have examples of that word in the language. Did you guys know that you can do all these things in a dictionary? If you did, raise your hands, yeah? You did? Okay, cool. So we have a good crowd that knew that, and then we have a good crowd that is learning something new about dictionaries today. So there are two types of dictionaries that we will study today. We have the English dictionary and we have the bilingual dictionary. And we said that bi means two, lingual is language. So bilingual means it has two languages in it. So in a bilingual language, you can find all of the stuff that we saw, plus the meaning in the other language as well, okay? The dictionary, the English dictionary, it will have all the stuff that you see on here in English. The bilingual dictionary will have this stuff, but will also have the meaning in the other language. How are they organized? Well, the dictionaries, as you guys probably know, they are organized by alphabet. So you have to know the alphabetic order that the words come in, okay? So all the words that start with an A belong under A. All the words that start with B, they go under B, and so forth. And I'm gonna show you guys something as well. So typically, when we're looking to alphabetize something in a dictionary, the way we look at it is the first thing you want to know is you want to know the first letter that it starts with. But then there's a lot of words that start with B, right? Yes? Maybe? So there's a lot of letters that start with B. So then we look at the second letter. Okay? So we look at the first letter, we look at the second letter. Now let's say we have these two words. The first part of the letter, these are names, by the way, these are rules for alphabetizing names. But the same thing follows, it's the same rules, okay? So those two words have the same start, right? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 letters that are the same. So then what's next is the next word, the next letter that's different. Does F come before N or does N come before F?
It's before N.
F is first. So then this word goes first. Okay? Does that make sense? So we always look at the next letter over. And that's where we put it in the dictionary. That's where you'll find it in the dictionary. Now, obviously, if you're looking online, the dictionaries online look a little bit different. So we're gonna go, you can go the Cambridge dictionary, you can use whichever dictionary you want. But we are going to go to dictionary.com. And then dictionary.com or dictionary is where you'll find the meanings of the word. Thesaurus is where you'll find the antonyms and the synonyms of the words, okay? So that's the difference. The dictionary is where you'll find the meanings. The thesaurus is where you would find the same and the opposite. So we're gonna take a look at the dictionary. Now, one of the words that we learned today is bliss, right? So we're gonna type in bliss. Now, obviously, since this is an online dictionary, it's a little bit different. You don't have to look for the words like you would in a normal dictionary. So you really don't have to worry about the order so much. Oh, this is wonderful because it gives you the English, the American pronunciation and the British pronunciation. So you can see what do we find? We find bliss, right? We find the International Phonetic Alphabet of how it's spelled. We can play it, and it will tell us how it will sound. And what do we know? We know that it is a noun, and we know the definition, right? Supreme happiness or utter joy. Now, a lot of words in the English language have multiple meanings, okay? So they have more than one, one singular word could have more than one meaning. And we'll come back to that in a second. Oh. We'll come back to that in a minute. Now, so the alphabetizing rules, again, it goes by the first letter. If the second letter is different, then if it's an A, it goes first. Whatever it is, in whatever order in the alphabet, that's where it goes. If all the letters are the same except the last one, then you go with the first letter that is different. That's what determines if it goes first or it goes last, right? You can see these words, M-A-R-I, M-A-R-I, M-A-R-I. A goes before Y. This is just supposed to be up here, right? Y goes after S. So this, Marist, should go between these two. Yes? Does that make sense? All right, beautiful. Sorry, we went through a little bit different of these. Okay. So some abbreviations that you should know, or some things that you will see in a dictionary, is abbreviations. These abbreviations that you see when there's an N like this, or just an N, it doesn't have to look pretty. When you have an N, it means that that word is a noun. When we have a V, it means that it's a verb. When we have an adjective, it's ADJ, okay? So these abbreviations, if you see them in a dictionary, they mean the part of speech. Then in a dictionary, you'll find the definition and you'll find examples. Okay, so these are things that you'll find in every entry, and we'll see that if we go back to our dictionary.com page. There it is. This is it. Okay, what do we see? We have the part of speech. We have the meanings. Okay. And we have a brief example. We have examples. Sorry, flight attendants, gaming managers, and bartenders, but your only chances at marital bliss are worst of any profession. Not a great example, but these are all examples of actual places where they've used this word, okay? I like this because it gives you the source. So if you click on it, it's going to take you to that website and you'll see that sentence somewhere in this paragraph. Yeah? But in dictionaries, we have the meaning, we have the part of speech, we have how it's pronounced, and if it has more than one meaning, then it will tell us. In this case, and on dictionary.com, it also gives us examples here. It gives us idioms and phrases. So when you say bliss out, it's slang and they experience a lot of joy. That's what it means. Okay, cool. Yeah. So anytime you're running into a problem, you can find words that will help you, or in the dictionary, things that will help you do more than just look for the meaning. So a lot of times you'll find that when you look up new words in the English or in the English language, they can have more than one meaning, or they can have multiple meanings. If you're not sure which meaning is correct, this is what you can do. You can first read the sentence that contains that word. For example, if you saw it in a paragraph, remember we talked about context clues before? So if you saw that word in a paragraph or in a sentence, you reread that sentence and try to understand the information around it. So you try to figure out the context clues around that word so that it can help you see it and understand the meanings. You could also look at the prefixes and the suffixes, which we also talked about before. And remember, again, all these things that I'm telling you, they're tools in your toolbox. You don't always have to use them, but if you get better at using them, then you get better at speaking and understanding the language. So you read the sentence that contains the word. And if it's in a paragraph, you read the sentence before and the sentence after. You can then highlight or circle any context clues that might lead you to understand the word. You can reach for your dictionary and look up the word and check through all the meanings and find one that makes the most sense in that sentence, considering the context of that sentence. Okay? Does that make sense? How are we feeling? Good? I don't hear you. Okay, good. And then the fourth thing that you can do is analyze the part of speech in the context and match the definition with the context, with the part of speech. So, for example, if you have the word beautiful, the adverb of that word is beautifully. You will find beautifully listed under that root word beautiful in the dictionary, typically. So bliss, an adjective of or an adverb of that would be blissfully. So blissful, blissfully. Okay? And finally, you want to put the synonyms you selected back in the sentence and read the paragraph to ensure it makes sense. So what that means is that you take the word and replace it with a word that means the same thing. If that word makes sense, then you know the meaning of it. Yeah? Good? Bad? How are we feeling? Y'all know it's too dark in here, so you have to tell me if you don't understand. I can't see your faces. How are we feeling? Awesome. Okay. All right. So, for our purposes, let's take a look at, again, a dictionary.com. Let's take a look at the word of the day, because they have a word that they're trying to teach us every day. Oh, maybe not. Look it up. Let's look it up. Does anyone know how to pronounce this word? Should we hear it? So this word is duplicitous. Marked or characterized by duplicity. Now, we don't know what duplicity means, right? So we're going to click on it. So we know that duplicity is a noun, okay? We know that it is deceitfulness in speech or conduct by speaking or acting in two different ways. So that means that the person is acting not in a very truthful way. So he's behaving here one one way and behind that person's back a different way. We have the synonyms, which is trickery, hypocrisy, guile, fraud, and we have the antonyms, which are the opposite, right? So straightforwardness, directness, candidness, honesty, these are all the opposite. Now, these are other meanings that it could have. An act or instance such as deceitfulness, law, and the state of quality. You can find other word forms. And then you can find examples in the sentence and words that are related to it. Okay. Make sense, everybody? Do you see it? Great. All right. So that's it for this one. And then I'll answer any questions in the class if you have. All right, can someone turn on the lights, please?